This next pop-up, the water lily, I absolutely love just because it's so simple. And if you've made the teacup, it uses the same basic principle of just lifting with a simple shape and creating the pop-up mechanism there. It really is simplicity itself, and I do absolutely love this one. Okay, enough of that. I've done the cover and I've printed that onto the backing here, which we've got some guidelines. Then what you need to do is simply go ahead and cut out the elements. There's only 5 of those in here, so that's all nice and simple. And then we'll have a look at the leaves and I'll show you how we put it all together. If you start off with the bigger water lily leaves, as you can see here, cut them out, and there's some very faint fold lines on there, so you'll need to create the tabs here and all the smaller tabs for the lily base. And you'll also notice that there's a fold line here because this is all going to come together, so it's nice and faint but it's opposite that part there, so I suggest that you score that. Then what we need to do is simply put this together, and I've done it because this, if I just hold it like this, comes like this, we can see the inside and the white just remains on the back there. Now I'm going to glue the main tab here that holds it all together. I'm using the tape pen, but you do need it to be nice and strong, and I would strongly suggest that you perhaps use a wet glue, but enable to sort of go on ahead quite quickly. I'm using this. So I'm going to glue that now, and we can see that how the shape already comes up like that. Now if you, before you glue it, or even afterwards, it's easier to do it before you glue it, just use your pencil to run round and pull it through, and you can work into this rounded shape. If you can see what I'm doing, that will just help create a much more rounded pattern, and already you can see that that's pulling out. Now I've folded in the tabs there. My 2 main ones are sitting here, and they're going to stick down and hold it onto the card, and then we'll see it will just simply fold and open like that. It's such a simple mechanism. So I'm going to go on now and just do exactly the same for the second one here. There's a fold line in there. Now this one, as it sits, is quite a bit tighter, but again I think I prefer to have the colour on the inside and then the white on the outside there. So go for the score line there, just fold it, pull everything else up, and then again a good bit of glue, strong glue. It's quite a small tab on this one, on there, and that has to come right the way round like so. It creates a very tight pop-up part there, and you can see it's almost like a crown, and that's lovely. And then we've got our 2 tabs that are just going to sit on the inside in there. Now with the stamen, you just need to cut them out and then just stick them double-sided like so. Just trim up any of the areas that overlap, and then there's 2 simple slot lines which they slot in here, top and bottom. So you'll just need to use your craft knife, and again, because they're pivoting there and we don't want too much resistance, just cut a little slither out of those 2 there like so, and that will just come out. And then the third one, this is really an optional one, and you don't need it, but it's there if you do. We'll just simply put a single cut into that one there. Okay, and I'll show you now how we do that. Oh, just before I go on, they've got the little feet here, so you'll just need to fold those and fold them backwards and forwards, and I'll show you how we put those down. In fact, they go opposites. Just before you put them onto the centre, the first thing you're going to need to do is just slot the lower one into the top one like that. Then they're going to fit, a bit like butterfly wings here, back to back, and just slot opposite each other, something like this, and the feet are just going to angle slightly. So we're going to put it in, glue the feet, and just angle them slightly. Really they want to sit like that, so it just folds upright, but we're going to force them just in a little bit like this, just at a very slight angle, so when it opens up they're forced to spread open a little bit more like that. I've got the main card here. It's a picture on the front, and there's 2 little tabs, very very pale. They're the ones which we're going to use to start off with, and we're going to glue onto there. Those are our guidelines to glue the first part, which is here. and so they're just as a guideline. So fold that in half, and you'll see that two of the petals that stick out are bigger. Those are the ones that we need to glue. Again, a little bit of glue on each side, and that needs to be quite strong. So again, this really is under pressure, this one, so a good strong glue. I keep saying it, but I would suggest a wet glue. Now the two tabs are there, you can see they're very, very faint. They're just there to line up. We can pull this out, but the most important thing is to line it up on the centre line, and then just pull this back to create the shape under tension. And there we go. And I'll just stick those two down, and voila. Let me just show you. You can see now how that's sitting in that particular shape, and just close it up, and that should feel quite nice. No crunching, and there we go. That's it. So it is just a case of using it by eye. They're your guidelines to start off with. They won't fit exactly on there, it's just really as a sort of a guideline. And now the same again for the smaller one. You'll notice that there's two bigger petals. I'm just going to fold this, and again I'm just going to glue those, good strong glue. And they're going to go down now into the middle there again. Just before I glue the middle one on, can I just show you how we can work it around on a pencil here and just put a bit of curve in onto these shapes. It doesn't hurt, it just sort of gives the card a little bit of memory, and just helps to create a slightly more exciting and organic shape. And if we move back to the centre part here, that's simply going to just repeat the whole process again. And those two tabs are going to line up on the original ones, and of course you're keeping an eye on our centre line there. So that comes out. If you pull it out, it puts it into under pressure, you can see. I'm just going to bend these back slightly now. This is really for aesthetics. You can see that's what I love about paper, it really is so malleable. And there we go, that's the middle part. So if I turn that sideways, we can see already it's really looking quite beautiful. Make sure that closes up okay, and as it comes out it should be fine. Plenty of stick, I didn't push down hard enough on there. I can't stress, really use wet glue for that, nice and strong, and you'll be fine. Otherwise it's under so much tension, it really does want to keep trying to pull apart. Now once we've glued the stamens for the water lily, they're going to go in just into the centre, and they're just going to sit parallel with the fold lines. They can obviously fold up, but what we're going to try and do is just cheat a little bit. If I take each one at a time here and just move it just ever so slightly inwards like that, can you see? If I can just move my hands out the way, I'm just angling those in just slightly so that when it opens it just spreads a little bit. Again, if I just hold that up to the camera there, hopefully you can see that the feet are just spreading inwards, and really the effect now, as you can see, is that these are just slightly coming outwards like that. Really they should be at 90 degrees and coming out, so then it's not going to be happy when it folds. So again, lots of glue on this, and I would, as I've suggested before, a wet glue, a good wet glue would be quite good for that. Just made the slot a little bit bigger there, and if you wanted to you can put that one right in the centre, and that would just sit naturally as it were, but I think we can probably do without that. It's just personal choice. And there we go, as we open and close the card we get this beautiful water lily, if I can show you from the side, and the stamens just come up and just angle out slightly. Again, just crease the card a little bit, put a crease in there, and that will force them again to go where you want them to go. And I think you'll agree that's really quite a lovely looking card, very simple, and I think its simplicity is its elegance on that. Anyway, have fun and have a go at this one. It really is quite a special card, I think.